Hey guys, um, good news. I am finally feeling a little better because I finally graduated. Look at me. Only took me 10 years, but I did finally graduate. I finally have my bachelor's degree. Um, and I feel really proud of myself. It's like a huge weight has been lifted off. Um, I there have obviously been times where I haven't been in school. Like I've taken a lot of like semesters off, like years I've taken off. But even when I haven't been like actively in classes, it's still been like in the back of my head that it was something that I needed to do. So it never felt like a full break, you know? Like it was not like a full rest, if that makes sense. So now that it's finally done, and I just received my like official confirmation, like e-diploma, that it's like officially done. So my classes have been done for a few weeks now, but I was waiting until I got that confirmation because I have anxiety, so I was like, oh my god, they're gonna tell me there's like some error, and like actually just kidding, I still need to do something else. So I was waiting to like get the official word that it's officially done. Um but so yeah, I just got the official confirmation that it really is over. So yeah, I'm super excited. I can't believe it's finally done. So yeah, I did my degree online at SNHU, Southern New Hampshire University, and I cannot recommend it enough to any other neurodiverse people. Um, I mean, in general, if you're like a non-traditional student, if you're an adult, if you have to work a full-time job for whatever reason, it was so helpful to take online classes. You do them on your own schedule. There's no like you must log in at this time and like attend a lecture online. I know like some online classes do it that way, but at SNHU you do them on your own time. So that was great. You don't have to do any sort of like, I mean, at least I'd never had to do any sort of like group projects. We did have to do like online discussion posts, but it's like you just write yours and then you respond to someone else's. It wasn't like an actual like discussion really. Um so I didn't feel like it like wore down my social battery in any sort of way. It didn't like grate on my autism. Um and all of the deadlines were super clear and things had like rubrics. So I thought it was a great fit for me personally as a neurodiverse person. So I definitely would recommend it. Um, so yeah, again, I'm done. I like can't believe I actually did it. There were so many times I felt like it would never happen. And again, I took a lot of breaks. Like there were a lot of SNHU does like 8-week terms instead of like 16-week semesters, which was another reason that it was a good fit for me because like it was accelerated, so I felt like I was making progress faster. Um so I didn't like lose motivation. A lot of times like in the 6 week like more traditional timeline, it's like it'd be like, oh my god, why is it not over? I've been in this class forever. So it was a lot easier for me, I think, in that 8-week accelerated class setting. Because you'd be like 1 month and you'd have your like midterm project, and then it'd be another month and you'd have your final project, and like that was it. Class done. Not to say that it was easy, is definitely like challenging. I definitely learned a lot. You definitely have to work hard. Like, don't think that SNHU is like an easy, like, shortcut way to do things. It's definitely not. You definitely have to work hard. You definitely have to study. Um, you're definitely going to work for your degree. I definitely worked hard. You definitely have to work for your grades. It's not like you can't just skate by. Don't think like that. But yeah, this is like to say I'm finally done. I don't have a job lined up, which is stressful and scary. Um, I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to get a remote job because I think that that's the only way that I'm going to be able to have like long-term success in a job. I think one of the reasons why I get so burnt out in my previous jobs is because it's been in person, and that constant in-person interaction with coworkers uh, drains my social battery so quickly. Um, it's constantly having to think about my facial expressions and my tone of voice. And even like when you have your like lunch break, let's say in the office, like I need that time to like sit quietly and like it's not a break, when you're autistic or neurodiverse, it's not a break. Like you go to like the break room or the lunch room, whatever, and then someone wants to come and sit with you and talk to you, and like if you say no, then you get labeled as being a bitch. And, like, then no one, like, people just talk shit about you and no one wants to be your friend. And, like, you get excluded from things and people, like, don't want to, like, give you promotions and, like, they don't want to help you out when, you need help on an assignment. Like, if you need help with a task, um, then they don't want to help you because you just want to be quiet at your lunch break. Um, so like, it's so complicated with like neurotypical people. Like, so you have to like be engaging all the time when you work in an office if you don't want to be like labeled a bitch and then get like outcast. Um, Even if you like help everyone else when they need help with their tasks, um, if you're not also engaging people during breaks and like during your 15-minute break and then during your lunch break, if you say like, oh, I actually just need some quiet time, or like, oh, I'm listening to this podcast, actually I'm in the middle of something, like, oh, I actually am just trying to recharge, like, I'd actually just like some quiet time today. I'm sorry, like, I just like some quiet time today, like, maybe another time. If you say something like that, then, like, even if you help, anytime they need help, if you don't engage them in conversation anytime they ask, like, you get, like, labeled a bitch in corporate America. So, I, like, really don't I can't do that. Like, I need my quiet time. So that's really exhausting for me. That's something I have always struggled with in-person jobs. Even when I've worked at like Walmart, like I did overnight stocking at Walmart, and it's like the same thing happened. I was like just trying to sit quietly like during my break times, and then people would always come and try to talk to me, and I'd be like, I didn't want to be rude. And then like that's a whole nother thing. Like, then it's always like so complicated. Like, I just need my quiet recharge, quiet time. And it's impossible to get that when you work an in-person job. Um, and then the other thing now is that I have these migraines, is working in an in-person office setting. Um, everywhere nowadays has fluorescent lighting. And anytime I am anywhere with fluorescent lighting, I will get a migraine. Even when I wear these tinted glasses at all times, and it always happens. Like, the longer that I'm exposed to fluorescent lighting, like, the higher the chances that I'm gonna get a migraine attack. And when I get migraines, I get vestibular migraines, so I get vertigo with it. So then I also get nauseous. So I don't want to spend all day being like in pain and nauseous and dizzy just because like I'm trying to work and support myself. So I'm really hoping now that I have a degree, even though it's just like a Bachelor of Arts in General Studies. I'm really hoping that that's going to help me be able to get a remote full-time job so I can support myself. I have not gotten any interviews yet for any jobs I've applied to that are remote, which is very frustrating because I've been applying for over a month now. I have started to apply to even hybrid remote roles that are close to me. Have not gotten any callbacks on those yet, but I've only been doing that for about a week. And then I have also started applying to some temporary and like seasonal stuff because, at the end of the day, like I do need an income. So hopefully I can, keep applying for remote roles while I'm doing like temporary jobs just for an income, and then hopefully I'll get a remote job. And again, I am autistic, so doing a remote like call center type job is not gonna work for me. I have seen a lot of those posted, and I have not applied to them because that's not gonna work for me. Talking to people 24/7 on the phone is not. It's not. I'm gonna get burnt out so fast from that. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I know I haven't posted in a while, but obviously I was in school and trying to get it done. I took 3 classes for my last term because I wanted to finish, and I did. I got it done. You're only supposed to take like 2 classes at a time at SNHU, but I did 3 in my last term, which is the equivalent of doing like 18 credits at like regular non-accelerated school. So yeah, this is my new Squishmallow also. His name is Daxxon. I got him at Kroger the other day. I was with my sister and my nephew. My nephew is obsessed with hats. So I saw this Squishmallow because he's purple and pink and blue, but I love like space and these colors, and he's an alien. And then I saw he was wearing a hat, and my nephew saw he was wearing a hat, and I was like, oh buddy, I think we gotta get this one. And then yeah, he's 2 and he doesn't really talk, but he hugged this, and it was basically like the size of him, and he like put his head on it, and he like hugged it the entire time until we got to the checkout. Yeah, but so yeah, this is my newest Squishmallow. I'm obsessed with him. So yeah, anyway. But now that I'm done with school, I have like more time now, I'm trying to get back into doing things that I actually enjoy, because I spent so much time like studying and doing homework that I just didn't have time for anything other than that. And a good chunk of it I was also working full time. Obviously I wasn't the last few months, but I didn't have time to do anything. I was so focused on school. Um, so I'm trying to get back into like, who am I? What do I actually like? And how can I like get back to being that person? So, um, I used to spend a lot of time journaling, so I got this new journal when I was out at Half Price Books. It's like really shiny, and it has these cute little like flowers and like butterflies in the shiny part. I don't know if you can see all the detail. But obviously it's also Frida Kahlo, who I love super a lot, and it has a cool like magnetic closure thing, and I love this flower detail on it. It has a ribbon, and like I need to mark the thing. If a journal doesn't have like a mark for where I am, I'm not buying it. But yeah, I got this at Half Price Books for like $8. So I'm obsessed with it. I love it. So I'm trying to get back into journaling. Like, I don't want to say every day, because if I say every day and then I miss a day, then I feel like shit. So, but getting back into journaling regularly, I'll phrase it that way. Um, and then I'm trying to do more creative projects. I guess I'll say it that way. Even if it's just like coloring in a coloring book, like with crayons, like it doesn't have to be like an intense masterpiece. But I love being artistic and creative, and I used to spend um like a lot of time with that, and like in a low stress, like just doing it for myself, fun kind of way. So I definitely want to do more of that. I need to make time for that. So I found a few of my old coloring books, and I have colored pencils and crayons and markers. And then also my uncle James, he used to be an art teacher. Fun fact, like a college level art teacher. So he had these old like little microwave glass kilns, and he gave me them. There's like he had like three of them left over from uh his old like teaching days. So he gave them to me with a bunch of like leftover glass, and he's like, "Here, you have these. Here's some tools. Like, have fun with it." So I've been experimenting with that. I'm not any good at it yet, but I've been having a lot of fun. Um, I think I'm starting to get the hang of it a little bit, sort of. Nothing like worth like actually putting on a pendant or anything, but it's been fun. And then he also gave me a sewing machine, which I used to like enjoy sewing. In middle school, I took like sewing and like home economics is what they called it, and I made a quilt, which I know I have somewhere. I'll find it. But that was a lot of fun. Like, I would like to make another quilt. So, I also have made a skirt, which I have somewhere. I will find that also. That can be another video. But I wouldn't say I'm like talented by any means, but like I think it's fun and relaxing. So, I definitely would like to do that. I did buy a bunch of fabric, so I would like to make a quilt. That is another thing on my to-do list, like to do for funsies, make a quilt. Um, and then the last thing is I freaking love to read. When I was a kid, I used to like eat books. Um, I was definitely one of those kids who like would stay up reading like with the flashlight because I was supposed to be like in bed, but like I had to like find out what was happening. And it was always like one more chapter, and then I get to the like next chapter, and it was like, and then a cliffhanger, so I had to like one more chapter. The way we do now with like, oh, one more episode, and then it ends on a cliffhanger, and you're like, okay, one more episode. Like, I used to be that way with books. So I definitely want to get back into that. So I But you know, when you're in college, you have to read so many books just like for your classes. And then it's like I don't have any energy left. Like I'm out. I've I have no more space in my brain for reading. And there's like no more time. So I am finally done. So I went to the library today, after I got my like electronic diploma copy today. I went to the library. I have my stacks of books. So I got 6 different books. This is what happens every time I go to the library. First of all, I looked for recommendations for people who just, like, recent college graduates. So I found a few, and again, I live in, like, small town Kentucky, so we don't have, like, the biggest selection. Refocus. Focus. Come on, camera. There it goes. We don't have the biggest selection of books at my library, but it's pretty decent given the size of my town. It's very impressive. So I basically did a Google search and just like picked out all the books that my library had in stock, which was only 3 of the like 50 books from the list. So that's what we have. The first one is called The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, which I love Shonda Rhimes. I didn't know that she wrote books, so that was a really fun fact that I learned. That's where my, free bookmark from my library. Also a sticker that says I love my library, so I have to find a good spot for that sticker. But yeah, I freaking love Grey's Anatomy, so I had no idea that Shonda Rhimes wrote a book. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. And I just started like rewatching Grey's Anatomy again for like the millionth time. So this might be the first one I read. I still haven't decided which one I'm going to read first, so you guys can help me decide. But anyway, the next one is Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. I love Brené Brown. I definitely got super into her. I've watched all her like Netflix specials, so that's another one I'm super excited for. This one I have never heard of. It's called Originals: How Nonconformists Move the World by Adam Grant. Never heard of that one, but it was on the list. It's gotten good reviews, and I'm definitely not what I would call a conformist. I'm definitely kind of a weirdo, so I think that'll be a good one for me. So those were like the 3 for new college graduates, kind of like what am I doing with my life now sort of books. Then the next one was just absolutely for funsies, called Neon Gods by Katie Robert. This one, not gonna lie, was on the Goodreads smut list. I just wanted something absolutely for funsies after doing so much hard work in college. So I actually have not I've not read a lot of this particular genre of book, but now that I am done, at least for now, with academic life, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let me just read something absolutely the opposite of academia. So we'll see how that one is. And then I got a couple biography ones. The first one, I've been wanting to read this for a while. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I have a bit of a challenging relationship with my mother, so I have been wanting to read this since I saw it come out, but I was so busy that it just, was not in the cards at that time. But it was in stock at my library, so we're going to see how I like it. We'll see how that turns out. And then the last one I saw, this was not on like my original went to the library for this one, but the Jeanette McCurdy book was not in the right place on the bookshelf. So then I was kind of looking around to see if it got moved, which it did, and I eventually found it. But while I was looking around in the biography section, I saw Holly Madison down the rabbit hole, and I actually have been wanting to read this. I remember watching The Girls Next Door when I was definitely too young to be watching Girls Next Door. And I think that, I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, I think that I, had a crush on her. But, I didn't realize that I was bisexual, obviously. But, looking back and, now, I'm like, oh, I definitely, thought she was really pretty. But yeah, I'm very interested to read this and about her experience. So, those are the 6 books that I got, and I technically have a month to read them, so we'll see how long it takes me. Again, I don't have a job and I'm done with school, so I don't think it's going to take me a whole month with the pace that I used to read books at, but, yeah, I think I'm probably going to read them and, do little mini, book review videos, if that sounds fun. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Definitely feeling better. Things I think are looking up. So, yeah, if you made it this far, comment the word book or your favorite book or a book recommendation for us to check out. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Hang in there. If you're in school, you're gonna get through it. I promise you. Alright. Love you. Bye.